just the wealth transfer process. In terms of the bigger picture and stepping back a bit of what you should consider when you're transferring wealth, and this is adapted from a book by Ron Blue called Splitting Heirs, and it just is a book about what sort of things or steps you should take in the process of working out how to transfer your wealth onto the next generation. And first thing, you got to work out the why. What are you on about? What makes you tick, and what do you want to achieve, or what's your legacy in life? The second thing is transferring to whom. You got to decide who you're going to transfer it to, and that's thinking about, I guess, both your children, grandchildren, and any charitable organisations that you're thinking of as well. A couple of decisions at each of these points. One is the treasure principle, that you can't take it with you, but you can send it on ahead. The other principle is the unity principle, where your spouse completes you, not competes with you. You need to be at one with your spouse, if you have a spouse, so that you agree on what you're going to do with your wealth, as opposed to disagreeing with each other. Important to be unified in those decisions. And the other one is wisdom. Key one here, when you're transferring wealth to the next generation, make sure you transfer wisdom first. So make sure they're able to handle the wealth rather than passing it on and it negatively impacting their life. Treatment of it, or how much, is the other question. And this is particularly important where there's significant amounts of wealth involved. So if you've got a lot of money to pass on to the next generation, it's really important that you consider how much should you pass on, because I've got a book all about beneficiaries of estates and significant estates actually ruining people's lives. So think about how much you want to actually pass on to the next generation, how much you'll pass on to charitable organisations. The other thing to consider there is the uniqueness principle. So you love your children equally, but you might treat them differently. So a child might have a disability, or you might have a single parent child. You might treat them differently or provide a different amount of benefit to them, but you love all your children equally. So just think through that principle. In terms of timing, I guess what we're encouraging you to think through there is time your wealth transfer to maximise the use, both by you and kingdom servants. So don't necessarily think that you need to transfer all of your wealth on death, but you can do it before then as well. The other one is, do your giving while you're living, so you're knowing where it's going. Pretty much the same point there. Making sure that you transfer wealth when you can see what happens with it and how it's being utilised. Then you've got to talk about the what. What are you going to transfer? Is it going to be assets or money or houses, or what are you going to transfer? And I guess from a Christian principle perspective, God owns it all, so we're going to have the question about what would He have us do with the resources under our control. The other one is tools and techniques, and it's only at this point in time that you should really focus on tools and techniques. Don't get too caught up on those early on in the process, even though we're going to focus on them a little bit tonight. Make sure you've gone through these other steps before getting involved in the tools and techniques. And the other point about that is, don't use trust because there's a lack of trust. So don't try and shelter money from your beneficiaries in a trust structure because you don't trust them. You've got to take another approach rather than taking that approach. And the other one is, in terms of tools and techniques, keep it simple. Don't make it overly complex. And the final step in the wealth transfer process that is often missed off is communicating. So making sure the people who are going to be recipients of your assets, making sure that they understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's a key point that often is missed off. Basically, the decision is the expectation principle, communicating your plans. So we're tonight going to focus on the treatment, so how much you need to transfer, and in particular, if there's a shortfall in funding. So if you are ill or die, what if there's a shortfall in what you want to achieve for your loved ones, and for yourself if it's in the case of illness, not death. And the other one we'll focus a little bit on some of the tools and techniques, but don't forget these other steps in the process as you go through.